Good morning or afternoon, amazing agents from across the country. Today is Thursday, July 19th, 2018, and this is Mastermind call number 186. Today we are bi-coastal. Chad and I are in San Francisco at the Inman Conference. If any of you are here, please come by the exhibitor area and see us. We'd love to talk to you. We'll be here, been here since Monday. We'll be here all day today, and then back to our respective home bases. And then Tim and Tom are down in Cocoa Beach, Florida. So I assume that most of you are somewhere in between San Francisco and Cocoa Beach. So that's a good thing. We got the whole country covered. I just wanted to start off by congratulating Lisa Philatrut, was our winner of the week last week. Lisa was particularly impressive. She's in a relatively small market for probate. She only got four probate leads, and had two of them were red hot, and she had already converted one of them. So anybody who gets a 50% conversion rate, please speak up on these calls, and I think you'll have a good chance of winning. Lisa, we'll contact you in the next day or two to see if you'd rather get some free leads or credit towards your next bill. So congratulations. And for the rest of you, we started doing that about a month ago just to kind of get the shyer members of our group to speak up and brag a little bit. And we're gonna do that every call. You know, anybody who has the best win of the week, just speak up and share with the group, and we'll announce the winner every week from the previous week. And other than excited to be in here in San Francisco, that's all I've got. Tim, anything you want to share with the group?
Well, I was just having fun making my cell phone ring and interrupting the call, so that's about all I was good for today. No, we're doing fine. Tom and I are, while you guys are out there enjoying Ghirardelli Square and the wharf, we are kind of back here sorting through stuff and making sure that we're keeping everything on track back here, and anxious to see you guys get back and enjoy the rest of the summer. Hope you guys are having a great summer. Tom and I are kind of working on our lead gen side of this, making sure we're continuing to tighten it up and make it better. So we're just moving and grooving. Tom, you want to add anything?
Just my normal. Just if you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. That's what we're here for. Just send us an email to support@alltheleads.com. We track those items and get back to you as quickly as possible. That's all I have, Jim.
And I always have to add, be really specific with what you need help with. We now have, you guys used to accuse me of exaggerating, but we now have 20-some plus people on our team. Like it's 24 or 25, but everybody reads those support emails. And if you're real specific about what you need help with, the best person will usually get right back to you. I think we have our response time down to, I know it's less than 15 minutes. Often it'll be instantaneous. But the more specific you are with what you need help with, the quicker we'll get back to you. Chad, what words of wisdom would you like to share with the group this week?
Well, next week is Mastery Week, whenever I get back from the show. So anybody who's interested in taking Probate Mastery, it is next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll do 3 consecutive days, a couple hours each day. You can learn more about that in the education and training page. Common questions are always, is it recorded? I'm really busy. So it's about 6 to 7 hours of content. Everything's video recorded and sent out to you immediately following. And anyone who has taken Mastery before, we usually have 5 or 6 people, alumni, that come back each month. So if you have taken Mastery and you want to be registered, you can just email Chad at all the leads and say, Probate Mastery Alumni Registry, and I'll get you manually registered. Otherwise, you can see the course outline and sign up under the education and training page.
Excellent. And I always feel compelled to add that, for those of you that are brand new, you can absolutely get started without Mastery, but if you really want to take your confidence, your level of understanding of this business, and really, just kind of take your professionalism to the next level, it's very much worth taking that course. We've looked at our numbers. The agents that stay with us the longest and have the most success, almost without fail, are the ones that do eventually go through Mastery. Nothing you have to immediately, but certainly in the first few months with us, find time to get started on the Mastery course. And that is all we have for you guys. We have 2 people in the queue. We have plenty of room for more, so we are going to have to cut this off right at an hour today. Chad and I have to get downstairs to the meeting area and hopefully meet with some of y'all who are on the West Coast. So please, if you have something that you want to share, questions, challenges, go in the queue now. Don't wait till the end. We don't ever want to cut anybody off. Just hit *6 and hit 1, and we will take you one at a time. And first up this week is phone number ending in 9931. You're up first.
Hi, yes. Can you hear me? My name is Marcia. I'm from Atlanta. Can you hear me really well?
Can hear you great, Marcia. Welcome.
Okay, perfect. I'm sorry. I'm in a store, so there's some music in the back. So I just had a real quick question. I'm actually I'm a real estate broker, and I'm an investor in the Atlanta market. And I also have an office in Savannah. But I think I want to test it out initially in the Atlanta market. But my question was, just from my understanding, I definitely don't have time to send out letters. So I definitely want to, make that a part of what I'm buying the leads, and you guys actually send out the letters for us. But my question is, just so that I can have an understanding, you, in that 3-campaign or 3-letter campaign that you suggest, so basically let's say the first letters go out, let's say August 1st. Then on September 1st, that second letter will go out on top of the first letter that's going to go out for the leads to come in for August, correct? Is that how the mail motivator works? Like you're always in like 2 cycles?
3, actually. So we recommend you stick with your marketing campaign for at least the first 3 months. So you'll kind of hit critical mass. In month 3, you'll have 9 mail pieces out there, and going forward. So that's why Mailbox Motivator exists, because it's incredibly hard to coordinate and orchestrate on your own. So we've been able to build tools to pretty much automate that, so you don't ever have to think about it. And we will send you a copy of your own letter, so you know exactly when everyone in your market has gotten them, because you get a physical copy of your own letter.
Right. Now, the young lady did tell me that. Okay, so basically I'll have 3. So in August, come September, I'll have 2. Come November, I'll have 3. But those 3 letters would have been from that initial August campaign. But on top of that, when I get my September list, the September is rolling out for the first campaign. Is what like all of that is just happening at the same time.
Right. So by October, you will have 9 mail pieces out in the market. And
okay.
Going forward, to be sending 9 a month, 3 a month to 3 different lists each month.
Each. Okay, so I see how it can. It can snowball, like literally.
Yeah.
Well, it can just.
What I was gonna tell you, Marcia, and Chad might be getting ready to add this. And by the way, there's a lot of background noise, so when you're not talking, I'll reach out, but then I'll
fine.
Okay, good. One thing I wanted to add is make sure you use the CRM on the back end of our website to manage your campaigns, because you're in a competitive market, and we have agents all over the 4 or 5 counties that encompass Atlanta that are doing very well with this. But if you use the CRM to manage your campaign, when you speak to someone, let's just say you send 100 letters out the first month, and you speak to 20 of them and they've already sold, and you speak to another 10, they're not interested, and you list 2 of the properties. Well, as you speak to people, make sure you use that CRM to eliminate the people you don't want to mail to again. If someone is absolutely not interested, or if you've already scheduled an appointment with them, take them out of it, because, and you will find that by the 3rd month, you may have, Chad would have a better sense than I, but you may have half the leads left in there that are still worth mailing to. So make sure you use that as a tool, and you won't mail to people needlessly. And also you won't call people that you've already spoken to and duplicate the calls, unless there's a reason to. Use that. There's a button on there that says, do not call, do not mail. So that's the most efficient way to manage your campaigns. Also, we do have agents that will mail for much more than 3 months. You can customize that 3 letters, 3 calls is our suggested kind of minimum standard, but you can customize that however you like. You don't necessarily have to limit yourself to 3, and you can customize that to suit your needs. Make sense?
Yes. And my next question then is, because you were saying that you have people in the Atlanta area. I thought that you limited it to three people per county.
Why would we do that, you say?
No. I said that my understanding was that you made the comment that you have a lot of people here in the Atlanta area, and I was saying, or DeKalb County, I was saying I thought you limited it to 3 people or 3 agents or investors per county.
Yeah, we do in most markets, but Atlanta, you've got Fulton, DeKalb, Cobb. I know there's 4 or 5 different counties that encompass the Atlanta area. So that's correct. And if we do have more than one person and we're doing letters for both of you, we make sure that we send out a different letter, different color envelope, that it looks substantially different. We never want to give the impression that that you're cut and pasting or doing a mass marketing campaign. We make sure the letters are individualized for each of you.
Okay, okay. Now, I do understand that you were saying Atlanta, but I'm DeKalb, so I guess
okay.
Fulton, Fulton is huge, ridiculous in terms of the amount of. I think it was almost 200 or something like that for Fulton, but no, I'm in DeKalb. So from my understanding, there weren't a lot of people in DeKalb, or you limited to the 3 people. Then when you said that, I almost thought, well, maybe I should start in Chatham, which is Savannah, Georgia. Because Savannah, I was told there's no one in Savannah. So
and Chad as our coach will probably have a comment. I would tell you, don't be intimidated if there are 1 or 2 other agents in your market. It amazes me. How no matter how much we preach it, not all the agents are going to pick up the phone and call. And it's certainly, even if you have a little bit of competition, it's infinitely better than FSBOs or expireds where you've got 100 people calling them. If you pick up the phone, if you follow the program, send a letter and pick up the phone and actually diligently call these people, you'll get your share for sure.
Yes.
You certainly could do DeKalb and Savannah if you wanted to try both of them for a month or 2. We wouldn't mind that either.
Okay. Yes. I think that's where I am in terms of just totally being burned out. I mean, I have no problem cold calling, but I'm just so over FSBOs and expires, and it's just I'm so over it. It's just it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. Back in the day when I was an agent, I used to make 100 contacts a day, and I would talk to 80 people. And I talk to agents in my market now that are still trying to do that. They'll pick up the phone and dial 100 times, and they're lucky if they speak to 3 people. We had a caller on one of these calls a couple months ago in California that said, "I can't believe this. I'm calling, people are answering. They're actually nice, and they're willing to talk to me." It's a whole different ball game than the mass lead sources like those that expires. I think it'll be if you don't mind picking up the phone, it'll be a really refreshing change for you.
Yeah, and I believe that because I am a cold caller and I have no problem doing that. I think this is probably going to be, not probably, it seems from the calls I'm listening to and all of that, it seems like I'm going to just knock it out the park because I have no problem picking up the phone, calling people.
Yeah.
So.
You certainly should, and we're here to throw you a softball. We'll throw you a slow pitch and help you knock it out of the park.
Okay, perfect. And then my last question is that I was looking at the website, the 199 website, and I didn't see. Is there like a sample of that, or someplace we can look at that and to see if that's what we want to do eventually? The website that you build out.
Yeah, there's
Tim or Chad?
I'm getting a bookmark open here to send you to the right one.
Tim, you're still on also, correct?
Yep, I was just letting Chad go ahead.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you go to modern.yourprobatewebsite.com, so modern.yourprobatewebsite.com. Another is sleek.yourprobatewebsite.com. Let's give you a third one here.
Those are examples of websites that we built, Chet?
These are just template sites that Jeremy has for demos.
Oh, okay.
So you have the third one was classical.yourprobatewebsite.com.
Oh, I got it. You know what? Somebody at mark@alltheleads.com just sent me an email about websites. I got it.
I didn't think.
Perfect.
See, Jim told you we have a fast response time.
I had sent a email though yesterday about it, so maybe that's so interesting that as you're telling me, I just got an email from Mark at All the Leads.
It's like a miracle.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Okay. And I know I said it was my last question, but it was not. I'm sorry. I do have one more. If we are interested in you said the mastery class or the master class, I know I thought I heard that you say is it a group class or is it an individual class, or do we have a choice on how we would want to take that?
It's a group class that I do once a month. We do it live using GoToWebinar, but because we're all busy and it's impossible to get everybody together, we video record everything. So we'll do it 3 consecutive afternoons, and if you miss a session, you know you have the video to watch as soon as you get back to your office.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that is my last question. Thank you.
Wonderful. And Marcia, please, after you get going and you have some success, please come back I love your enthusiasm. You're going to do very well, but please come back on these calls and share your experience with the group.
All right, perfect. I will.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We only have one more person in the queue, guys. Come on, step up. Hit *6 and hit 1. We need a win of the week. We need challenges, places you're getting stuck. Hit *6 and hit 1. We got plenty of room for more people. Next up is phone number ending in, 8447. Sorry, 4947. You're up next.
Yes, hi. My name is David, and first of all, thank you for a great website and all of the information that you provide. My wife is an agent. I'm handling the finances, and actually I found you guys online. I was very impressed with the program, and I convinced my wife to sign up last week. We're in New Jersey, and we have an area or a county of about 340 to 360 leads per month at this point. And so we just started. We're very excited. And we actually signed up for the 3 letters and 3 call campaign. Now, if I might have mentioned that this is my wife's first year. And so we were very excited and motivated for her to do well and get to that 1,500% ROI. And so my question is, and no one has been able to answer it this week, but I was told that Chad has the metrics, that with your typical client, when they have you guys make all 3 calls, compare it to you guys making the first call and your average client making the second and third call, what's the success rate having you guys making that second and third call as opposed to your average client? And then I have another question after.
That's pretty much impossible for us to track. I mean, we have, maybe 20% of our customers come to this call and share, and, we can certainly track what happens in our call center, and we convert around 3% to appointments, and 2 out of 3 of those are turning into listings if we're making the calls. That's we can track and see that. As far as, what to expect, like somebody doing it on their own, I think most agents are in that 1% to 2% conversion. However, even at 1% conversion in almost any market, your ROI is still north of 1,000%. So if you're your median price is what, probably mid-3s, 4?
I'd say 4s.
Yeah, so you're in the 4s. So 1 commission can go a long ways, against what you spend on the campaign. Like for me, I was basically trading $1,100 for $21,000 when I was running my campaign, and that was with a median price of only $117,000 on probate deals. So your ROI can climb extremely quickly. With that many leads, I would expect, if you're clear and confident in what she's offering, you should be getting a minimum of 3 closings out of that each month.
Okay. 3 closings each month. Okay. And
understand, like, this is something we always try to underscore with people. I mean, it could take a week for you guys to get your first listing, or it could take 3 months. And the longer term your view is, like, if you can look at this at a minimum on a quarterly basis. So we see a lot of folks send one letter and then say, it doesn't work in my market. And there's so many variables in this situation, and it's so emotional. People all behave differently. And so some of these are going to be quick and want a fast solution. They've already chosen an agent. Some of them moved the house out of the deceased name, before the death even occurred. But just keep in mind, there's that 2 to 6% in there that you're going to help. So when you start hearing the no's, don't let that discourage you early in the campaign, because what oftentimes happens is that the ones that really need help, you'll start to see hands come up in month 2 and month 3. We had a gentleman on last week. He's been at it for 2 years, and he's on pace for 10 closings a month. And it just took him some time to build that momentum. So the longer you stick with it, the higher your conversion rate will become, because you'll start to get people off of lists 6, 7, 8, 12 months ago that are finally ready to do business with you.
Right. Okay. My concern was with, the amount of people in our county, the first month will cost about $2,400, then the second will be in the mid 3s, and then it's going to be about $5,100 the third. So, but my wife is very talented, and she. In theory,
so we'll go back to the advice Jim gave earlier. If you're using the CRM the way it's designed, and when someone has sold or has listed or it isn't selling, as long as you're updating the record using the option status tab and you click opt out of calls and mailers, you're going to see your cost reduce. And then the CRM is built to save you money. So you might have 300 in the first round of your campaign, 200 in the second round, and only 100 letters going out on the third round. And since you're using our system, we're able to track all that. So as long as you're managing it in the CRM, you'll actually reduce your marketing costs throughout the campaign.
Okay. And have you guys quantified what the average reduction is in calls and letters from the first to the second to the third?
Again, it's variable all over the country. I mean, in my market, I found I would knock out about 30% per round. So by the end of it, I had pretty much exhausted my list.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
And David, I just wanted to throw one thing in there. Congratulations. And I sense that you might be a little bit high analytical, and that's awesome. I mean, analyze these numbers and please report back to us with your results. I wish more agents would do it. I know last year we asked our agents to report back to us, and I think maybe 5 or 10% of them responded, but our average ROI was just under 1,500%, the agents that responded. So please report back to us. Another thing I wanted to share with you, obviously it's okay to be an experienced agent, have a great background that you can boast when you speak to these people, but this is a niche that works very well for new agents for a couple reasons. A significant percentage of these people are not local. In your market, I suspect you're going to be calling a lot of people that have retired to Florida or California or, slightly warmer regions. So they don't know you from the local superstar that has bus benches and signs all over the neighborhood. So it's easy for a new agent to compete in this market because, and chances are that the more experienced agents aren't reaching out to them. So you're almost at an advantage. So being a new agent, this is a great place to start. If you go through our training, make sure she watches those fast track videos, go through Mastery, but she'll be so much better qualified to help these people than anybody else in the market, regardless of how long they've been in the business. So that's exciting. It's a great opportunity for you. We appreciate you participating.
Great, and thanks for all the support this week. It means a lot.
You're very welcome, sir. We only have one more in the queue. I said we wanted to get back to the meeting, but we don't have to do it early, guys. Come on, jump in, hit *6 and hit 1, and you'll be up next. Right now we have one more. Thank you. We had a couple more jump in. Thank you. Next up is phone number ending in 6248. You're up next.
Good morning. My name is Joyce, and you may remember last week I called in with my heart in my throat because the lady had screamed at me she was not to ever call her again. She was going to report me to every authority she could find and so on.
Yep.
And I, when I got off the phone, I made more calls, and would you believe the first call that I made, the PR was actually a fiduciary.
Nice.
And his father is an attorney, and I was able to make an appointment with them, and so that was a double score, I thought, because of that. And I just wanted to report that there is good news. And I do have one question. Is it true that the court has to give permission to the PR to distribute items?
Yes. So typically that's the last step in the process. So the taxes and administration fees will be paid first, then the general debtors, and then finally the distribution to the heirs. So that's kind of what wraps up the whole process.
So you can't clean out the house until the courts give you permission?
No, you can with personal property. It's the bigger things like, cash and real estate and the bigger valuable items. So it's okay. It's certainly okay to clean the home out. Oftentimes it's necessary because you need to generate money for repairs, and you can usually do that through the personal property. And then the property is obviously going to sell for more if it's cleaned out and in the best condition it can be. So unless somebody is disputing something, I think the court usually doesn't really get involved in the personal property aspect of it.
That's great. Thank you very much.
And Joyce, I want to say I think you had 3 wins, because what's the old adage? If you fall off a horse, get right back on and ride. And congratulations doing that. You got struck by lightning on your first call. You could do this for 10 years and never happen again. So congratulations on, not letting it deter you. Move forward and get quick results. That's great. I think that will inspire a lot of people on the call.
Can you just explain to me what I haven't had my appointment with the firm yet, but what does a fiduciary really do for us?
So it's one of the best relationships you'll have. Their job is to administer estates. So typically they'll be appointed if there was no next of kin, if there was no family to appoint an administrator from, or an administrator. Then the state, that's one scenario. The other scenario is if there's infighting among the heirs, like so if you have a dispute or someone contests the appointment of the administrator, then the judge will step in and say, okay, listen, in the interest of protecting the estate, we're appointing a public administrator or a fiduciary. So those people have little to no emotional attachment to the estate, unlike the personal an executor is typically a family member who has some emotional tie to it. So working with a fiduciary, it's more of a business to business relationship. So their job is to ethically and efficiently get these estates administered. And your job is perfectly complementing that. So you can, the service that you provide can cover a lot of ground, especially when there's no one there from the family that can do things. So your team can be super valuable to a fiduciary. And we have clients out here in California where it's common that fiduciaries will meet either monthly or quarterly in kind of a trade group. And the agents that are working those, diligently working the fiduciary lead, they get as many referrals from the fiduciaries and attorneys as they do from their own marketing efforts.
Oh, that's great.
So the key is what you want to show them is that they've never met an agent like you. So show them that you've raised the bar for yourself, you've created a team, and you're using a proven, repeatable system that complements their business. And once they realize that, most people start getting referrals immediately.
Oh, that's so great. Shirley, thank you.
Thank you very much. We have 4 more in the queue. That'll probably be enough to keep us busy for the next 30 minutes. Next up is phone number ending in 8682. You're up next.
Hi, guys. It's Jeffrey from Venice, Florida.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, how are you? Hey, quick question
Great.
for Chad. What is the best optimum way to convert out-of-state, prospects? What I've been doing is offering CRM and, getting people interested in doing that. However, I'm just wondering if there's any other thoughts you have with regard to getting out-of-state people to start beginning to be interested in, eventually landing a listing, in other words.
Well, I would say, it starts with be empathetic to their position. So what are their biggest problems? Usually their problems are property maintenance and preservation. And how the hell are we going to get this house cleaned out? And we don't know anybody down there, right? And Jim's actually more qualified to answer this one because he was in the Fort Lauderdale
Well, I meant
market.
once we get past that part. Well, that part I understand, and that obviously is part of it. But however, once they're interested and they do start talking about the real estate, I'm wondering if there's anything other than doing a CMA, rather, I meant to say, to sort of, lure them in as bait, if you will.
Yeah. So everyone's going to be a thumbprint. Like each of these people will have specific needs. There are patterns, and it's not, it's pretty easy to start to see that. But you've probably heard me say 17 or 2,800 times, focus on people and situation, and then find ways to provide value and monetize it. And in that order. A lot of people try to find ways to monetize it, and then they get the door slammed in their face. So focus on the people, start the conversation, and build rapport. And then naturally, typically the biggest challenge and the first thing that needs to be dealt with, because 80% of the wealth is held in it, is the real estate. So start the conversation with a broad scope of service. We can help with anything. What's been the toughest thing so far? And then when they start venting about, having to find a landscaper and having to pay the HOA fees, and they got a tax bill from the county, then you start to realize, okay, there is real estate, there is pressure, and these people aren't taking action. So there's a huge opportunity for you to step in and say, you know what, let me get my line guy over there. I've worked with him for years. You can trust him. You can even pay him through PayPal, and then can the neighbor meet me and give me a key so I can take a look? And you'll find that in the conversation, as long as you're in the right mindset and you've got that team and service built out, in the conversation, you'll see multiple things that you can do to really make yourself valuable. Personally, I don't ever try to. I try to not focus on any outcome on any phone call. So when I pick up the phone, I'm focusing on the people, and they're gonna tell me how I can help them. So through asking good questions and engaging with them, they'll tell me exactly what I need to offer them.
Okay. And Jeff, are you referring to what Chad calls the real estate quicksand, or are you referring to people that you've spoken to and they're just kind of not, maybe you feel like they should move forward and they're not quite ready yet? Is that
no?
What you're referring
I've
to?
gotten in the past month. I did 5 people out of state, all having to want to list the properties. However, I'm running into issues like, we did one presentation. It was a nice presentation. However, we would have had a shot at it, but it was about $800,000 property. But the problem is that the brothers decided to keep the property. That was one of the issues, and I'm finding that may be true with another one. That one of the sisters may actually buy the house. So the one that I'm speaking to is extremely motivated to list it. That would be great, but hasn't happened yet. So there's other extraneous issues that seem to come into play, and we did a presentation on the 800, but of course they decided to keep it. So I just wanted there's other ways to think about it. That's kind of what I was
Sure, and if there are things that you can I mean, you can, do you want to be closing in November or just getting started then? And another thing at this time of year, if they're weighing their options, you can throw out to them that, hey, the market is red hot right now. This is the best time of year to sell. So, you guys may want to go ahead and get into the market, before the summer's over and we head into the winter months, and it's probably going to sell quicker and for more of a premium right now. I mean, that's not going to, that's if they're weighing their options, that could push them over the top too. Yeah. And I would also say those two situations you just mentioned, everybody or a lot of people talk about maybe having one of them buy it or keeping it. I think if you call both of those people from 6 months from now, you'll probably find out that that's not what they did. So I would definitely sort of just put that objection on the back of your mind and kind of ignore it.
Right.
Keep in touch with them on a regular basis. That might be one of their options, but it's probably not the one that they're going to end up exercising. They're probably going to go ahead and
I agree with that, and I was waiting to comment. So Jim's absolutely right. So just as an example of a way to step in and provide value in any way you can. In that instance, my sister's going to buy the house. Okay, great. Has she gotten, is she paying cash or is she getting financing? And there could be an opportunity for you to get her to your mortgage banker and then get her pre-qualified. If she doesn't pre-qualify, then that first, right? And that's actually really common. Like a lot of people, everybody wants to own a house, but only 64% of people can, right? So there's a good chance that that person won't qualify for the mortgage, and they're just not, they don't know what they don't know about real estate. They might not have, I would say at least 50% of the time that I've heard that, it ended up selling anyways because they drugged their feet and they got cold feet when it was time to, to sign on the line, or they couldn't qualify for financing. So a lot of people have, they early in the process, they have intentions of keeping it, and then they do the math, or the banker does the math for them, and they can't do it. So in that situation, I would have tried to get my mortgage guy involved to help them out, but also so I would, they would know that I had already tried to help them, even if I couldn't monetize it. But also, I could get reports back from the banker saying, hey, she didn't qualify, and you can still be engaged in the process even if you're not listing the home right now. And when they run out of options, they'll list the home, and you'll be the only agent that they'll ever speak to.
Right. I just want to say one thing about the program in general to people who are first listening, that the first letter, which I sort of refashioned with Cindy, but we always get an amazing response in the beginning. People actually calling us up before we even make the calls. And although this particular month I got a lot of irate calls, which was uncomfortable, but it's amazing how the letter and the program really works. It's pretty compelling, I have to be honest with you. Although I haven't been as successful as I wanted to be at this point, it's very powerful. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it. Keep coming back and keep sharing. We appreciate it.
Okay.
We have three more. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Next up is phone number ending in 1557. You're up next.
Hey guys, this is Ken McFarland in Morris County, New Jersey. How are you?
Excellent. It's New Jersey Day here. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Couple quick questions. So really trying to build my business in this area, after like the first 2 months, right? You send the letter, you make the call, maybe you follow up, 30 days later, and if budget works out, you send another letter. I mean, again, just like how I'm looking at it, not how it's supposed to be, but and then after that, you go from there. I mean, you guys recommend just outside of just visiting attorneys, right? If the people that you don't come in contact with, never pick up your calls after you sent them a letter and possibly a second letter, and they don't have an attorney signed to them, is it just one of those things where process-wise we should just call them every 30 days or just every 3 months? And what would you guys recommend? Because it is like we get these leads that are I've had maybe a year and a half, and you call them, but I guess after, let's say 3 months of getting a lead, what do you do after that point?
So most people let off the gas. We teach the three month, 3 letters, 3 phone calls over 3 months as a minimum.
Okay.
That's at least what you should do.
Okay.
Some people will, best practice, continue calling until you've spoken to everybody and either re-rated them or opted them out. That way you've talked to 100% of the list. Now, we don't always have the budget or the bandwidth to do that, but the longer you can stick with them, the more successful you'll be, the fortunate in the follow-up, because most of your pressure is coming from investors, and they're going to market like hell for the first 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then they're going to let off the gas. And a lot of times people are just locked down and ignore everything for the first month or two, and then they'll start to open up. And we talked about this last week in Denver as a good example of that. We find people get really, really frustrated, and then around the 3rd or 4th month, they get covered up in listings if they stick with it. So I would, you can send your letters, make your phone calls for the first 3 months, and then, if you have the bandwidth to go back through, touch them once a month until everybody has been either rated or opted out.
Okay. Great.
That help, sir?
Yeah, very much. So.
All right.
And
Appreciate it.
As far as the at that point, the call dialogue. Maybe this is, and I maybe this is my fault because I've been doing role play calls, but as far as people, you get them on the phone 6 months, a year later. I mean, is it just simple as starting out the conversation of, did you, I sent you a letter. I was just curious if you read it, understood it, had any questions, because a lot of these people, they get letters from multiple sources, even outside of all the leads, so they're not even going to remember it. So I guess maybe the kinds of conversations I need to have with them, 6 months, 9 months, a year after I send them a letter.
So you can try something like, hey, this is Chad. I had sent you a letter several months ago and just had a few minutes at my desk. I try to make sure to take a few hours each week to follow up with families, because I've helped so many that, were 6 or 8 months into the process before they were ready. What's been the toughest thing for you guys so far? How's everything going? And just kind of as a touching base, and I would refer back to the initial contact, so they know that you've been trying to reach them and help them for months, and you're diligent enough that you haven't forgotten about them. You're following up. And typically the people who need help at 6 months and beyond, in my experience, they're come list me's. Like that's the probate quicksand Jim was talking about. A lot of people won't do anything because it's so uncomfortable, and there's such an emotional and a physical hurdle with getting homes empty and sold. So when you do talk to them that far out, they're really starting to feel the pressure. So they know what they should have done, but they haven't. So a lot of times those conversations move fast, and they're probably the most grateful people you'll speak to, because they realize, holy crap, it's been months and we've done nothing. We've got to get this done. And so you'll probably find that those distant conversations are going to be easier and even more motivated people if they haven't sold.
Very good. Thank you very much.
All right. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. We have 3 more in the queue. Next up is phone number ending in 9599. You're up next.
Hello, my name's Ty. I'm in the Wheaton, Illinois area.
Hey, Ty.
I'm not a member of your program, but I have been sitting in on your calls each week, and I did sign up for the mastery class that comes up this next week. And I don't know if you can speak to this or not, but there was a call a little bit earlier about success rates, being in the program, on the dialer, and so forth. Can you speak to folks that are not in? I mean, I made an inquiry, but I guess you guys are at your limit with this county that I sit in. But I've taken upon myself to grab a probate list. I've gotten a letter out. I'm halfway through the initial list of phone calls, reaching out to folks. Can you speak to what level of success people have that maybe aren't able to get into your program?
Somewhere between 0 and 50% conversion. It really depends on it kind of depends on what they're doing. If you have good copywriting, like if you're sending a good letter and you are, following up with a phone call, then you should expect probably, the 2 to 3% that we see from most people. The reason we have a system is the letter is important, so using the right letter. So if you're not getting a response, don't be afraid to change up your letter and try new things until you figure out what works. But you could get the same. We have subscribers that aren't with us that are doing 10, 15 deals a month in counties that are sold out and everyone swears are too competitive. So it's not that you can't compete there. That's my point.
And Ty, I just jumped in and I looked real quick here. I wanted to make sure you are not on the wait list for that county. So make sure that you do that, because we do, honestly, as good as our program is, believe me, we have agents call every day and say, apologize and quit because they just don't follow the program. So make sure you email support at all the leads and let them know you want to be put on the wait list for the county in Illinois. And the spot will come up. I mean, it's just a matter of time. Keep educating yourself in the meantime.
Yeah, I'm surprised with that, because I did make an inquiry, I think either by email or phone, and made sure that I got on the wait list, or so I was told I was on the wait list. And the letter that I'm sending out, Chad, is letters that I pulled from your Facebook group. So I downloaded letter 1, 2, and 3, which I don't know who puts those letters up on your Facebook page, but they read pretty well. So I'm just kind of using those. So I'm doing what I can, I guess, to kind of follow what I hear and what I see connected with your program. And I was just curious, if I can't somehow get into the DuPage County, because it is a rather competitive county, what level of success can I have with what assets I've been able to pull from what you guys have shared with, the different various communities. So,
and by the way,
just be diligent.
Go ahead, Chad. Sorry.
It sounds to me like you're pretty tenacious and resourceful. So I would expect that you will do better than most at this. I mean, you've already worked very hard just to get yourself in a position to market. So I expect, and that's Mastery will really help you. I mean, we focus on day 2, and Mastery is all about getting super clear on what your offer is, like exactly how you can help people, and who's going to be on your team to provide that help, so you don't have to do it all, and then day 3 we'll break apart the initial conversation and teach you how to layer that value in. So after Mastery, I expect you'll be in a position where you'll be fine, even in super competitive markets. It's no different than anything else. The people that are most eager and proud of what they're doing rise to the top and excel. And you sound like you're probably in that group.
And Ty, I did want to say, your phone number is coming in as Thomas Eden. So I was looking under Thomas. I just double checked, and you are on the wait list as of June 11th, and you're right at the top of it. So we will make sure we call you as soon as we have a spot in that county.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Appreciate you sharing, sir. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We have 2 more in the queue. Next up is phone number ending in 4947. You're up next.
Hi, my name is Aline Smolenoff. My husband actually asked the question before, where I'm new in the business, a little bit over a year, really, and we just joined on. So I had a little bit of a different question. I wanted to just know, in terms, and I think you kind of answered it, Chad, when you said about taking the Mastery course. So, I hear some people who are then certified probate experts or senior real estate specialists and all these titles. How valuable is that to have that when you're speaking to the personal representative?
Most everybody that takes Mastery, so we're going to send you like a stamped certificate. And most people who finish Mastery take that on the listing appointment with them. So they find a ton of value in it, and it works well for them. I issue that, but personally, it's less about the designation or the certificate than it is about the mindset and preparedness that you take out of mastery. For me, the certification is there because there's a desire to have that from you guys. My big goal is to gift you with confidence, so you come out the other end knowing that you're the best damn person for the job, and every time you pick up the phone, they're better off hearing from you than not. Like, that's the big purpose and the big value of mastery.
Right. Yeah. So I work with I have my license with Keller Williams, and we're very big about mindset and just having that confidence in scripting. So I saw that you had one script, with when you approach the personal representative. Is there a lot with other scripts that you would recommend, kind of like along the lines of what you were saying before? I liked how the approach was. What is it that you find most challenging right now? That approach seems, very compassionate. Yep.
So you've done a good job. You've done your homework. If you found that's the only script that we have, and it's hidden for a reason. It is out there because so many people requested it. I am extremely hesitant to write scripts in this. The conversation can go off track so quickly in probate because there's so many variables. And like I said earlier, each one is a thumbprint. So I'm really against scripting this because it's so easy to get you off script and then get you into marble mouth territory, and then you blow your chance, right? So what we teach is a conversation framework. So we'll give you the framework and kind of help you understand what information you need and what's the best order to get that in. And then what we want you to build your own language on that framework. And a lot of people write their own scripts once they get comfortable with the flow of the conversation. So I would suggest, like, in lieu of scripts, print the probate seller interview sheet that you downloaded when you did session 3 of Fast Track training, and then listen to the role play archives. Right now we have 35 hours of archived role play content. So you can hear us role play objections, how to start the conversation with personal representatives, with attorneys. There's a ton of content there for you to hear how I do it, other people does it, Jim has role played. So that's kind of what we want to do. We want you to be confident in knowing what information you need and what options you can provide, and then fill your own language in because it's going to be way more authentic. And you're absolutely right. So the golden ticket here is empathy. So if you can come at this from an empathetic place, people feel that in every letter you write, every phone call you make, and that's what makes every bit of difference in the world. When they realize you're not selfishly calling and trying to take advantage of them, but you're authentically offering to help them first, and you don't get paid until you do what you promise. It's the easiest business you'll ever have.
Right. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Our last person in the queue this week is phone number ending in 5284. It looks like you're going to be the last up.
Hi, this is Linda from Florida.
Hi, Linda.
I have a question about follow-up. If you talk to somebody and they're not ready at this time, but they do have real estate, but they just aren't ready to deal with anything, is it a good idea to continue to send them letters to as well as follow up with the phone calls? Because I noticed that they were taken off the letters when the ISA talked to them. But after I talked to them, I felt like it would be important to send them a letter just to keep top of mind. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's always a good idea to keep in touch, especially if you know they need help and they have real estate. You could click the opt-out off if the ISA did that, so they continue to get mail. Or you could maybe even put them in a handwritten letter campaign. So if you're talking 2 or 3 people a month that just aren't quite ready, maybe you sit down and write a handwritten letter once a month to that group of people. So to those, I'll call them your A+ prospects. It's really for you to decide what you send, but it is a good idea to continue to keep in front of them. What would be better is, so I'll just ask you, think back to your last one. Why were they not ready?
Well, I could tell she was having a very bad day when I called, and it wasn't a good time to talk. And she said that she probably will get rid of at least one of her properties. So, but she couldn't talk. She was having a really bad day, and I'm definitely going to follow up. But then I looked in the CRM, and she was already taken off the letters, and I'm like, well, I want to make sure that she still gets my letters, and I'll continue to follow up with phone call, and hopefully I'll reach her when she's having a better day.
Yeah. So did you get the property addresses when you guys spoke?
No.
Okay. So this is, I'm not a high pressure salesperson unless I see somebody standing in their own way. Oftentimes people aren't really they're not emotionally crushed. They're just really uncomfortable and they're just procrastinating. They're kind of in a pattern of doing nothing. It sounds like she was really, really emotional, and you did the right thing. You backed off. I would do that too. How I would reopen the conversation is I would, and you need to get the property addresses to finish this, but I would call and say, listen, last time we spoke, I could tell you were really emotional, but I did want to follow up and offer something I didn't. One of the first steps most of my clients take is really understanding what the value of the real estate is and how we can get the most out of that. So I would like to offer to do, 2-3 hours worth of work for you and really help you understand what they're worth. You don't have to do anything now. It's just kind of, the more you know, the easier this can be. And we know that when we get involved early, I know this is tough, but we try to get involved early because we know how much of a difference we can make. We can turn your mountain into our molehill. So have you got a few minutes to talk about the property so I can help you out? And just find a way to get in front of her, because that's something they need. They need to know what the properties are worth. And I've seen a lot of agents lose listings because they give that space, and that's the right thing to do, but then they forget about it and they forget to follow up. And by the time they do, it's on MLS. So just find reasons to get back in front of them. And that's why I suggested a handwritten, like a separate follow-up campaign for those A+. You may even, if you could go back and just get the property address, even though she was really emotionally raw, now you could be doing a CMA or market absorption analysis and dropping that in the mail to really show her that you're, proactively helping even before she's ready. So just keep that in mind the next time you hear it. The big thing is, why are you not ready? And if you're just emotionally crushed, then you can back off and find ways to follow up in the future. But what you'll find, I would say 8 times out of 10, they're not really, because typically it's 2 to 3 months from the time of the death. So most folks, when they file probate, they're kind of raising their hand saying, okay, we're ready to deal with this. But a lot of them, when they're procrastinating, it's not necessarily because they're emotionally crushed. It's just such a hurdle. They don't know where to start because they have so many things to do. They don't know what to do first. And that's where it's appropriate to apply pressure, to pull them out of the probate quicksand.
Okay.
All right.
I did
help?
send her a handwritten letter, and I'm due to send out letters again this week or next week. So I'm going to put her back on the letters and then give her another call and do what you said. Thanks.
Sure. Perfect, Linda. And please come back in subsequent weeks when you get that property listed and sold. Let us know your success.
Okay.
All right, guys, great call, and we're ending right at an hour. Chad and I are going to run downstairs. If any of you are in San Francisco, come see us. I want to end this call like I do all of them. I want to thank everybody for taking an hour out of your busy schedules to be here. We heard some great stories, some good successes, some things that hopefully inspired y'all to go out and take action. So I want to challenge everybody on the call. Take one idea, one story, one thing that inspired you on this call. Go out and put it into action and come back next Thursday and share your successes with the group. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week, and we will talk to you same time next Thursday. Take care.